All right, this is a breakdown video of the High Road to Gerlach. It's one of our first parade tunes that we're going to be learning. It's a march, it's a 2/4 march. It's two parts. Each part has two lines. Now, in each line, you'll see there's kind of a couplet. They're tied together there. That's because there's a melody line, and then there's a harmony line, what is sometimes called a second. So it's a harmony part. Don't worry about those harmony parts. It's the first line or the top line in every single line as we go down, okay? So this part, the first part, it has a total of 3 phrases. So the first phrase is found in the second two measures. So we're going to start on an E, and then we have a G grace note on that E. Okay, now that's a dotted eighth, so we're going to hold that a little bit longer. Remember in piping, this is called pointing, okay? It's different than being round, so it's pointed. We're going to really hold that. And then we're going to hit that 16th note right there is an F. We're going to go really fast and almost make it part of the E doubling. So we go up to an F, and then we do a G grace note down to an E. See my fingers there? We're on the F, G grace note down to the E, F grace note. That's the E doubling. And then we're going to put our E finger down and make an A. And that's the first measure. It sounds like this. Now I'm going to be tapping out eighth notes. So it's 1 and 2 and. Okay? Here we go. 1, 2. All right, that's the first measure. Second measure, from the low A, we're going to go to a C doubling. So it's G grace note to C, and then your D grace note. That's a C doubling. And then on the and of 1, we're going to be doing an E grace note down to an A. All right, and then on that quarter note, we're going to be doing a G grace note up to E, and then our F grace note. That's our E doubling, okay? So, second measure sounds like this. 1, 2. All right, that's the first phrase. The first phrase sounds like this. 1, 2. All right, so now we're on to the second phrase. This is measures 3 and 4. So this first beat where we have that D throw, and then we have the F, and then the E, that's also a pointed rhythm, okay? So if you want to kind of count this out at first, before you get the feel of it, that D throw is on the 1, that F is on the and, but it's dotted, so we're going to hold it. And then right before we do that D throw on the 2, then we're going to play an E. So it's almost like that E is part of the embellishment of that throw, that D throw. Okay? So here's that first beat. So we're on E from our last measure. And then we do our throw. So throw to F, or I'm sorry, a D throw. Boom, boom. So remember those from the exercises. And then on the and, we do a G grace note to F. And then real quick, we're going to do an E and then down to a D throw again. That's on our 2. And then we're going to do an E grace note down to low G. All right? So it sounds like this. We're on our E. 1, 2. All right, let me do that again. Okay, just like that. All right, I'll do it one more time. Okay, now for that last measure, the fourth measure there, we go down to a B, but with a doubling. So we're on low G, then we're going to do a G grace note to B, and then a D grace note. That's our B doubling. And then an E grace note back down to that low G. And then finally, we're going to do a D throw again, but we can't do it like we usually do, like we did in that last measure. because we're already on our low G. So what we do is we go to a D, and then real quickly with our C finger, we come down and back up, okay? So I'll just play that for you. Okay, that's how you perform that. So I'm going to play the whole fourth measure for you. Okay, second phrase now all together. Ready? 1, 2. All right, now we're on to the second line. Measures 5 and 6 are exactly the same as measures 1 and 2. So that's that first phrase we already learned. So you just would repeat that first phrase, okay? Then we're on to our last phrase, that third phrase, which is measures 7 and 8. So we're on our E from our last measure, which would be measure 6. Then we're going to do a G grace note down to low A. So now we're in our 7th measure, that first beat. That is also dotted, so we're going to hold that for longer. Then we're going to do a quick B, and then right away do a C doubling. Okay? And then on the and of 2, we do an E grace note back down to low A. That's all that is. So I'll play it for you really quick. From E. Okay? So that's the 7th measure. Now the 8th measure. It's just 2 quarter notes, but it's a B doubling. And then we're going to do that low G strike. Okay, that low G strike, right? So we're on a B. We go down to the low G, but then right away we pick up that A finger so we can play that low A. Okay, so it sounds like this, that last measure. So notice I'm counting out those 8th notes, so we hold them for a full quarter note. 1, 2, and then stop. And that'll be the end of the first part. So let me play that last phrase for you. Measure 7 and 8. 1, 2. All right. So that is the first part. I'm going to play it phrase by phrase for you so you'll know what it sounds like kind of all together. Ready? First phrase. 1, 2. That's phrases 1 and 2. Now, phrase 3 is same as phrase 1. That's phrase 3, same as phrase 1. Now last phrase, phrase 4. There you go. That's the first part of High Road to Gerlach.